Hi there, welcome to the Mirja Vahala Art Studio, where better methods equals better paintings. I think it's a great idea once in a while to paint a series of paintings and actually to paint small, so you're not so overwhelmed by the great big canvas, and then you can play around with colors and see how it goes and maybe make one of these into a bigger painting later. So I've done a video for you of this little guy, and I'll have one coming up of this one as well. And let me know what you think of it. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you want to subscribe for notice of future videos, please do so. Take care. Let's get started on Paint a Waterfall with turquoise and purple rocks, small and fast. It's easier to paint fast and looser if you pre-mix your paints. I like to do a bunch of paint that is similar in value, so my turquoise, my blues, my purples. I add some white, and I know that to those paints I can add purple or white or yellow to lighten them or change them up a bit. But by having some of the color ready to go, it makes it so much more fun and easy. The background color you see on this 6x6 canvas was magenta. When the magenta was dry, I took nickel azo yellow and did a little bit of a glaze here and there on it. The drawing was quickly done with some chalk. One of my goals for this painting was to allow little broken bits of that background color to show through. When you allow the background color to show through, it creates color continuity and also a type of energy that's kind of fun. Another thing you want to be aware of while you're placing these chunks of color is to make sure that they have a similar type of brightness or neutrality. Color shapers are handy for scraping into the wet paint. I like to use these when I put too much paint on and want to let that background show some more. I'm starting with mid-tone colors, and I will put some darks in after. The turquoise color I'm using was made with turquoise from golden plus some white and a little bit of purple to dull it down a little bit. And the purple color you see is straight purple plus white. I'm also adding little tiny bits of blue that is made with white plus anthraquinone blue. Before beginning a painting, decide if it's going to be overall warm or overall cool. I decided that this one would be overall cool. I like the contrast of the warm background peeping through. I decided to place some dark violet onto the canvas just as a contrast to the midtones to make sure those midtones are the right shade. I want to make sure that between my midtones and my darks there's at least 1 or 2 steps on the grayscale. We can create lots of changes of color within mass shapes as long as we maintain our form, and we maintain our form by using values. In other words, in each main shape you want to maintain your values, which is the shade. Continue to look for areas where you want to vary the colors and shades. A trick to seeing values when you're looking at your reference photo and your painting is to squint your eyes. Keep going. As I make these various broken marks, I'm trying to vary them. I'm doing narrower marks, wider marks, and then taking some of the marks and blending them together. And to make these broken marks more interesting, I scratch into the wet paint as well. To give your marks energy, move your wrist in different directions as you apply the marks so that the marks end up going in various directions as well. Raw umber is a wonderful neutral to add to many colors, and I particularly love raw umber with purple, and when you add the white you get these really nice grays. I'm using the dull yellow-green mixture to create some edges and some interesting change of color within the painting. Overall the painting is cool so far, and this yellow-green is just a little bit warmer, which adds that nice contrast of warm and cool. Here I'm adding a hint of a bottom of a tree using that darker turquoise color. Next, I'll lighten the edge of this tree by adding some yellow and white to the color. Before doing the waterfall, I just want to add a few more value changes in the rocks. Before painting the lighter tints in the waterfall, I'm going to put a few of the shadows into the waterfall and the background above it. I want that background to look like it's receding, so I'm careful to make sure my mixture has a nice grayness to it. So I've taken the purple and the white, a little bit of the green to dull it back. And here I'm using a little bit more phthalo blue and slightly brighter as I go up towards the sky. I'm also making the color lighter as we move towards the sky. For this entire painting, I'm keeping the paint nice and thick and goopy. I also continue to scratch into the paint, allowing that background color to show up. Here I'm going to add some of the water into the waterfall, and this is Anthraquinone blue plus white, and it's not quite my lightest shade yet, but it's going more to the lighter side. I'll also add the tints of purple and slightly darker shades where I need to of the Anthra blue. I'm just trying to get some change of color and little bits of change of shade and scratching again into the paint. I continue at this point to adjust some of the edges. In some places I've left a little bit too much of that orange background showing through, so I'm just going to join up some of my shapes some more and start to simplify. At this stage of the painting it looks a little bit like a shmoo, but it's really surprising once we put in the lighter tints of that waterfall how much this comes together. Add a little bit more of the blue-gray onto the rocks on the right side. The last thing we need to do to bring this paint together is to add some more dark. So look for crevices between the rocks and get out that dioxazine purple, add a little bit of white, and go in between the craggy bits of rocks to darken it up. I thought I'd be done after adding the darks in the crevices of the rocks, but I realized I needed to add a little bit of yellow oxide to the top right, just to indicate some fall leaves. Before this, I had also added a few more teal colors to the left-hand side of the cliff. And I also added a few more bits of yellow-green to the cliff on the right-hand side, and a few bits to the left side as well. To finish off the waterfall, I decided to add a little more texture and a little more value change and a few more color changes. It looks more natural to put light tints on top of shades when you're doing water. We are almost done. I want to add a little bit more detail at the right top of the painting, so I put in some branches. I made a few more adjustments in the water by putting some glazes of blue and then going on top with little tints of white that had the tiniest little bit of pink in it. That bit of magenta and white really brightens up the lit edge of the waterfall. I decided to add some lighter blue-green edges to the rocks to add a little more energy and more values. And we're done. I hope you enjoyed this. Try it out yourself. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for notice of new videos. Take care.